All right, we are back for METOUGH episode 12, and this is the last one, the very, very last one. And today we're talking about Star Wars episode 8, and that's what I meant by the last one. It's the last one of me talking about these Star Wars movies and stuff like that. And sorry, I had to clear my throat. Yeah, man, this movie. When I mean this, like I've never seen something so divisive in my life. I mean, the prequels were pretty divisive, but man, like this one right here, the internet went just bonkers over it. And I have to restrain myself because YouTube doesn't allow cursing within the first minute of videos, which a lot of my videos are just never going to be able to get monetized because I done already cussed in them. But I'm trying to make that a conscious effort moving forward. But once you get past that minute mark, I'm opening up the floodgates. But anyway, it was very divisive. I mean, there's not much that I can really say that hasn't already been said. I mean, there's been plenty of videos of people talking about this movie, breaking it down on why it's such a bad movie, the script, everything. Like it's everything that could possibly been said has been said. But fuck it, we're gonna do one anyway. As you see, it's past the minute mark, so I can now finally say what I want to say. So fuck it, we gonna do one anyway. So let me start off with my likes because there's quite a few dislikes, and I'm pretty sure that's where most of this video is gonna reside in is in the negatives. And I want to say this too while I'm within the first minute of this video. What I'm gonna be saying is based off my personal opinion. I do not let the internet dictate what I think about a movie or about anything. I had heard about everything dealing with this movie before I went into it because everybody was going ballistic over it. And I still went in this movie with an open mind. And I came out with my own thoughts and opinions when I saw this movie. And that still applies now. Especially with me rewatching it and me watching all the videos that I've seen. I still went into this movie when I rewatched it with an open mind and looked at it objectively and how I wanted to look at it. So the internet and how they react to things and shit like that does not sway my opinions or sway my judgment. This is 100% me and what I think about the film and how I feel about it. All right. So now with that out the way, let's go ahead and get into it. So there are a few things I do like in this movie. Not many, but there are some. Number one, which has been a general I can't say a general theme, because I've only said this pretty much. Well, I did say this for the other Star Wars movies, but meaning within this newer trilogy, I've only said this when it comes to Episode 7, and that is the visuals. I like the visuals in these movies. I know it's just because the day and age we live in, technology is so advanced, it's easy to make these type of things look good now, but I gotta give them credit, man. They got a style and a look to them that I'm 100% happy with. Especially when you start getting into the action scenes, like especially when it comes like to space fights, I would say more of those action scenes are just dealing with spaceships in general, like the X-wings and all that, which perfectly transitions into my second thing that I like, which is the opening sequence when you got Poe trying to talk to General Hux or whatever his name is, but he keep on calling him General Hugs. I thought that was kind of funny. But the space battle that comes after that, I really, really like. Once again, showing how fucking ace of a pilot Poe is. Super dope. He's like one of the most consistent characters in this movie outside of Kylo, who we're also going to get into in a second. But I just love that opening sequence. I didn't really too much care about them focusing on the one Asian chick. I know they was doing that because that was Rose's sister or cousin or whoever the fuck, but I think it was her sister. I can't remember what she said. But outside of that, just that whole opening sequence was really good. I fucks with that heavy. Especially because they was showing one of the things that I like when they showing movies is loss. Like people dying. Like, it's not just like always everybody lives happy, happy, joy, joy. Like, they show motherfuckers dying left and right, which they've always done that in Star Wars movies. But to me, it was like they was really hitting it home here where motherfuckers just getting blasted one by one. And they lost like a lot of their, I guess you could say fleet. I guess, I don't know what to really call them. I can't remember. But, like the the I don't want to say army, but you get my point. The ships, the fleet. Yeah, fuck it. We're gonna say the fleet of ships in whatchamacallit that they sent out there, the little bombers or whatever. But yeah, that whole opening sequence was fucking dope. I really, really, really messed with that. The other thing I liked, and this is like I said, we're gonna get into Kylo, was not only Kylo, or not Kylo. His name is Adam Driver. So not only Adam Driver's performance, but I love that dynamic that they were doing with Rey and Kylo. I just said his name. Somehow I forgot that quick. That whole thing of them trying to basically not seduce, but basically trying to bring each other over to each other's side. And those little meetings that they was having, and they was meeting through the Force and shit like that. I really, really, really enjoyed that. I thought that part was really cool, and it was the most interesting thing out of this entire fucking movie. And the sad part was that they focused on it, but they didn't focus on it as much as they should have. Because that was the coolest thing out of it. Out of this entire movie was like how they were able to meet each other from so far away, and it brings a new concept to the Force, and a new dimension to the Force. Because remember, there's one scene where Kylo is talking to Rey, and some water splashes up, and when the connection breaks, he has water on his hands. So it was just like, whoa, that's some very trippy shit. So I really fucks with that. That whole thing and that whole concept and that whole thing of Kylo and Rey, really fucking dope. Adam Driver's performance was fucking dope in this too. I know a lot of people initially didn't like him at first because of the mask and how he sounded and how he was throwing tantrums and shit like that. I enjoyed all of that in episode 7, even though I didn't put it on the list. But to me, he was the most standout one throughout this entire fucking movie. Like, if you look at everybody else who was involved, I mean, what is it? Is it Oscar Isaac? Yes, I think that's his name, who plays Poe Dameron. For some reason, I want to say Isaac Oscar, but I think it is Oscar Isaac. I think that's his name. Yes, it is. That is what it is. Yeah. He was good, too. He was real good. He's always been a good actor, so he was good, too. It was just everybody else was just kind of like whatever. You can tell that, you know, Carrie Fisher really didn't give a shit. She was trying her best, but, you know, she was just like, oh, I'm in another one of these fucking things. You can definitely tell that with Mark Hamill. Mark Hamill just, like, he was almost, like, he was basically how about I call him Han Solo? How, Harrison Ford was back in the day when it came to Star Wars movies. He was just like, oh, fuck, I gotta do another one of these? God damn. Like, you can just tell he was not trying to put his all into it. It looked like he would have rather been playing Joker for the fucking 18th million time and doing a voiceover for Joker than him being Luke Skywalker again and being in Star Wars. That's just how he looked to me. He was just looking like, dude, somebody please call me to be the Joker again. I'd rather do that any day than be Luke again. Like, I'm just fucking over these movies. John Boyega was okay. He wasn't as funny. I don't know. It was just something about him in this movie where he was just, you know, whatever. But anyway, I'm starting to ramble. You get my point. Adam Driver was the only consistent one to me in this movie. And I got to give the man his props because he was very convincing as Kylo. You know, even like the scene where he was talking about, like, when Luke shows up, like, we're on that little planet with all that salt and they're trying to escape. And Luke shows up and he's just like, fire the cannons at him. And he's like, fire all the cannons or whatever. And he's just like, the amount of anger and rage that he had, you could see it, you can feel it. It was just, his performance was fucking dope. It was really fucking dope. And that's pretty much it for my positives. We're only 9 minutes in, and I probably spent 4 minutes tops. Maybe, I would say roughly about 7 minutes on the good. Now it's time to get into the negatives, and I hate to do this movie like this, but goddamn. There's so many of them. And there's actually one that I want to add real quick. So if you can excuse me, I'm going to try to add this real quick and not hit my microphone. I'm still using pen and paper too because I find that to be the most convenient. Oh shit, I fucked it up. Give me 1 second. I'm going to try to make this not too long so it'll feel a little bit more natural. And And that's the point of these METOUGHs, is just that most of the time they're just me recording and ain't a whole bunch of extra bullshit being added. But anyway, all right, so now to the dislikes. Number one, Leia being Superman. I did not like that. I did not like that in any way, shape, or form. So I know that in the original trilogy, I should hit my microphone, especially with me going back and watching it, that they hinted that Leia could be and could have had, you know, the powers, not the powers, but basically she had the potential to use the Force. There we go. That's what I was trying to say. I don't know why I said powers. It was potential. Because I think that's who they was referring to when Yoda was talking to Obi-Wan. Because remember in Empire Strikes Back, when he leaves, he's like, I got to go save my friends or whatever. And, you know, Yoda was talking to Obi-Wan, and he was like, oh, you know, he's our last hope or whatever. No, I think that's what Obi-Wan had said. He was like, he's our last hope. And then that's when Yoda was like, well, you know, there's another one out there. Like, not really. Like, we got another one out there that could help us. And I'm pretty sure they was talking about Leia then. And then if you in Return of the Jedi, I think when Luke and Leia was talking, they kind of referred to her having the Force as well, or being able to use the Force. So it's not like it's a foreign concept of Leia being able to use the Force. The problem is that when did the Force like give you the ability to fly through space and survive space? I don't remember that in any way, shape, or form. That's where the problem comes in. I don't remember ever at a time where any of the Jedi Masters like, oh yeah, so if you ever get blown out of a ship, don't worry, just Superman your way back into the cockpit and you'll be okay. Yeah, we can survive in space. Even though her skin was fucking crystallizing, somehow she just was like, oh yeah, let me just fucking use the Force to draw myself back into the ship and just act like nothing happened. That shit was just fucking stupid. It was just fucking stupid. There's no other way to put it. It was just dumb. It was fucking dumb, and I don't understand why they did that. I genuinely don't. And once again, it's not the simple fact that she can use the Force. It's how they made her use the Force, or had her use the Force, better yet. It just didn't make any sense. I just don't remember the Force ever being used like that to survive space and to pull yourself into things. I just basically fly. I've just never seen that before. Just never seen that before. At that point, they should have had her fucking grab a piece of shrapnel and start fucking surfing on it like it's a damn surfboard all the way down to the cockpit. That would have been a little bit more convincing and a little bit more believable than that bullshit. But anyway, that was the first thing, and it sucks because that's like it's towards the beginning of the movie. The second thing is Holdo not telling anybody the plans. That's literally one of the dumbest fucking things that I've ever seen in my life. And look, I'm not gonna get into all that bullshit because I've seen videos about that too. I don't know where the fuck people came up with that shit from. To me, that's almost like y'all trying to make more out of nothing. But basically, after this movie came out, there was a lot of people who was doing all these videos and all these analysis and, you know, think pieces and shit. And one of the things that I kept on seeing was like, oh, the whole point of Holdo not telling General Poe the plans was because it's all about he needs to stay in line. He needs to respect women. He needs to do what women tell him. And like just going off on this super weird fucking thing of like where that was the whole point of the movie was to tell men that they should be basically, was it like subservient or whatever the word is, but you know, basically should be like servants to women and they should listen to women and bow down. And I was like, okay, y'all niggas on some other shit. Like I did. And I mean, I hate to kind of go down this rabbit hole because like I said, I'm not trying to, but it's so fucking interesting because how batshit crazy it is. And then they was like, yeah, that's the whole point because Kathleen Kennedy was over it. And, you know, Ryan Johnson, he's a feminist and he believed in feminism. And I was just like, what the fuck are y'all niggas talking about? Like, maybe it was just a simple fact of she knew. Well, it still doesn't make up for it, which we're about to get to in a second. But I'm just saying in the context of the story, the reason why was because she knew how Poe was. So she didn't want to tell him, I guess. I honestly don't know, but I'm just saying in general, I don't think it was all that bullshit that people were saying. But at the end of the day, the shit was still fucking stupid. Why wouldn't you just tell him? So you literally let him do all of that. He threw a, I don't know how to put that in the proper context of a sentence, but not context, but the proper sentence. Like, you know, basically he did a coup, right? And like, it was like, well, why did you let it go that far? You literally could have said to everybody at the beginning, hey, don't worry. I know it seems like we're not going anywhere, but we are. There's a planet that's at whatever miles away. And when we get there, what I'm going to do is basically have y'all fly off on some escape pods or transports, whatever the fuck it was. And I'm going to stay behind and make sure that they don't shoot y'all to all hell. That would have solved that problem right there. But because they needed that drama and they needed to escalate or not escalate, but extend that plot point even more, they was just having her be like, no, I'm not going to tell you. And it was just like, what's the point? You literally have everybody over here worried that they're all going to die, which a lot of people did die for no fucking reason. Like, you literally could just nip this in the bud, and Poe could have just set his fucking ass down and been like, oh, okay, I'm glad you have a plan. Because that's literally all he kept on asking. He was just like, so what are we going to do? Do you have a plan? What's going on here? And she refused to tell him. And all she had to fucking do was tell him, and the nigga would have sat down somewhere. But no, that's what led into them going to fucking Canto Bite and him throwing a coup or whatever the fuck it is. I know the word and what it means. It's just I've never really used it in a sentence, so I don't know how to properly put it in a sentence. But you get my point. It was just stupid. It was just fucking dumb. It made no sense whatsoever. And that was my biggest fucking gripe with it. Well, one of them, because all of these are gripes, to be real with you. But it was like, if I had to put it on like a tier list, this would be the biggest fucking one. It's like, just tell him, dude. Why are you fucking being an ass? Just fucking tell him. It makes no sense in any way, shape, or form. You can't justify. Just fucking tell them. The other one is Rose. Oh my God, dude. So look, I have no problem with the actress of Rose. And I'm going to go ahead and say this too. All y'all motherfuckers out there who went and harassed her, y'all need to get a fucking life. Okay? I understand being mad at a movie. I understand being mad at a character. Shit, I'm mad at a character. I didn't like a character either. But at the end of the day, she played a fucking character. Okay? So for all you motherfuckers out there who went out there and harassed her and did all that bullshit and got her kicked off she didn't get kicked off. My bad. That's the wrong words. Who basically, like, y'all basically made her quit social media. Fuck y'all. Seriously. Point blank period. Fuck all of y'all. Because y'all need to get a fucking life and stop that shit. It is not that fucking serious. It's a goddamn character in the movie, and y'all shouldn't be harassing that woman over a fucking fictional character. Stop. I didn't like that. When I heard that really hurt me, because I'm like, why the fuck would y'all do that? And it's a fictional fucking character. It's a fictional character. Y'all act like she actually is Rose in real life. No, it's a fucking character. She did her goddamn job, and y'all gonna harass her for doing her fucking job? Stop. Get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. And that goes for anything. It's fictional. Y'all shouldn't be harassing actors and actresses for a fucking fictional character. So all y'all can go fuck off and suck some dick. Real talk. Outside of that, her character's still fucking trash, though. Her character's fucking trash, okay? First off, when she's first introduced, she's not that bad. And I just hit my microphone again. She's not that bad. Where the problem starts to come in is when they try to flesh her character out and try to give her a meaning and a purpose. That's where the problem starts to come in. And when they go to Canto Bite, which is, I agree with everybody, that sequence, that whole thing was just like, why does this exist? Especially with them riding whatever them things were supposed to be, and her explaining the backstory of the area and where she and her sister came from. All of that. It was just like, why is this needed? Why? I get it. You have to give characters some sort of background story so therefore people can understand who they are. Because if you don't, the whole time this character's on screen, you're going to be like, what the fuck is this character? Who the fuck is this character? What you have, like, it's important to give people a little bit of knowledge of a character. But to me, to have a whole moment while the rebellion is getting fucking blown up, or whatever they call it now, I think it's still the rebellion, but you get my point. While the rebellion, resistance, whatever the fuck they call it, is literally getting blown the fuck up, you want to stand on a balcony and talk about, yeah, these are some of the richest people in the world, and you know, what they like to do is this, and that. Me and my sister, they came to our planet and made us blah. Yo, hey, look, I'm glad you want to sit down and reminisce, but I don't fucking have time for that. I don't care. Shut the fuck up. There's a whole bunch of people that's dying in space right now. I don't give a fuck about you and your backstory with your sister. Fuck off. And then what really, really pissed me off with her, okay, despite all of that shit right there, what really pissed me off with her was oh my God, at the end when she fucking did that shit with Finn. Dude, I mean, when I tell you, when I was in the theater, when I was watching this movie in the theater, that was the one moment where I was just like, are you fucking serious right now? Like, the rest of the movie, I was kind of giving the benefit of the doubt. I was like, okay, you know, whatever. But that was the one part where I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. You're really gonna do this in this movie? You just met this nigga. Literally, you just met him. It's not like you've known him and y'all were like childhood friends. You literally just met this nigga. Literally just met him. And you're talking about, we have to save the ones we love. And then you kiss him? Are you fucking serious? Even Finn was looking like, what the fuck is wrong with you? I just met you. How the fuck you fall in love with me that quick? Like, goddamn. Do you fall in love with every nigga that quick? Like, what the fuck? I did not like that. That was the one moment where I was really fucking mad in the theater. Once again, I gave everything else the benefit of the doubt. But that was the one where I was just like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. They really just try to do that bullshit. But actually, I want to go back to the likes for 1 second because I meant to write that shit down, but I forgot. But I thought about it when I was talking about Rose and the Canto Bite thing. So this is another thing that I like. And even though it was only for a short moment, I really enjoyed that moment. And I wish they would have played into that a little bit more, which, I mean, technically they kind of did with the character. But basically, it's the stuttering dude, the code breaker. And when he was on that ship and Finn was talking to him, he's like, yeah, this is not your ship. And he was like, yeah. And he was showing him, he was like talking about... when basically the dude was talking about how it's all about money. Like, the people that you think are evil, you know, and are good, basically they get they stuff from the same people. And like how he showed the little hologram of the dude who was a weapons dealer or a manufacturer of ships and shit or whatever the case may be, like how he was selling to the First Order and he was building ships for the First Order, but then he was also building ships for the Resistance. And he was like, basically like, yo, dude, there's a gray line. Like, you know, you are not really sort of a gray line, but basically he was like, yeah, who you may think is bad might actually be good and vice versa. Like, everybody's in it for the money. Like, basically he was trying to establish that, like, it kind of is no good or evil, because, you know, it's like you're always going to have the opposite for both things. Like, people who think that the Resistance is bad are going to join the First Order and vice versa. And then you got people who just going to make money off of it in general and stuff like that. You know, it's not as cookie cutter and as clean cut as Finn thought it would be. That I did enjoy that. And I was like, that was a good thing to throw in there. I fucked with that a lot. But then after that, you know, we at where we at. The way that they handle Luke in this movie, I didn't like that shit at all. Because once again, going back and looking at the original trilogy like I've been doing, or like I did, they really did fuck up Luke. And I've always heard people talk about how much they fucked up Luke, but I never really understood, because once again, I hadn't watched the original trilogy until that point, or again, up until that point. I had seen it a long time ago. So I wasn't like as well versed on how Luke was as most people was. But now watching the original trilogy again, it makes a lot of sense. Luke would have never done anything like that. Luke would have never done anything like that. And in anything, he would have tried to get Ben to come over before slaughtering him. And I hate to say it like that, but I'm just being real here. He wouldn't have tried to kill him first. He wouldn't have done that. Because even with his own fucking dad, if you remember in Empire Strikes Back, the reason why he went after Darth Vader was because, one, he had killed Ben, and because, two, he thought he was genuinely a bad guy. And he thought, I have to take this dude down in order to get rid of the Empire. So that's why he went after him and did what he did. But once he realized that he was his father, of course, he was so fucked up and he was, you know, kind of distraught about it or whatever. He's like, oh, I can't believe that's my father, blah, blah, blah. He even went to the extent of going back, which is what Return of the Jedi is about, of going back and trying to convert his father. He had the moment to kill him. He fought him. He could have tried to kill him in multiple times. I was trying to say he had multiple opportunities and he could have done it multiple times, and I kind of just like meshed it together. But you get my point. He could have killed him in multiple times, but he didn't. And even when he had his dad down and defeated, he still didn't kill him. He still tried to convert him over. So if he was willing to go to that length with his father, you're telling me that he wouldn't do that for his fucking nephew? Yeah, that would be his nephew. Yeah. He wouldn't do that shit for his nephew? Really? You're telling me he would just outright try to fucking kill his nephew? No, that's not the same Luke, and I understand why people got pissed off. Now, the other shit that came with it, like with him throwing a lightsaber and him not wanting to train Rey and all of that, I didn't mind all that. I didn't, because he's old and he's jaded and he tried that and it failed. I get that. Anybody will be fucked up after that. You know, like you tried to train, but then, you know, that essentially happens, which once again, he wouldn't have done. But I'm just saying in the context of the story, you know, that happens. You lose a whole bunch of apprentices and shit like that. Of course, you're not going to want to do anything after that. But my problem that really lies with it is that one moment of him trying to kill Kylo before he did, or before all of that happened, I'm like a lot of people. I don't agree with that. That's not Luke. They fucked up Luke a lot. They fucked him up a lot with that. And it's just, that shit, that wasn't cool, man. That was not cool. That literally goes against everything Luke has done in the original trilogy. Nah, man, I don't fucks with that in any way, shape, or form. And then the way they even handle his death did not make any sense. So he used a force projection, which I didn't even know was a fucking thing. But I guess he used a force projection, and somehow we got all the way over there to what planet they was on. I don't know how the fuck he even figured out what planet they was on. But he got all the way over there, and then he uses, like, I guess all of his force to do that, to not be there, and then he died. It was just like, what? It just didn't make any sense. It was like, what? It did. I still didn't understand that. Even watching it back, I'm like, what? So what was the point? Like, I get it, you did it to help them to a certain extent, but it was like that whole ending with him just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. He barely trained Rey, so who the fuck is she gonna train under? Which, once again, does it really matter after all the shit she done already pulled off? Does it really matter? It don't seem like she needs training to me, which we're gonna get into later. But it's just I didn't like that either. The whole thing with Luke, I just didn't like. It's almost like if they just shat on his character so hard. They did. They didn't even shit on his character. They shat on his character. The difference between shit and shat is that when you shat on somebody, that shit is just going everywhere. It's just going everywhere, like all directions, like a fucking bomb. It's like if you blew up a bomb full of shit and it's splattered everywhere, that's shat. That's essentially what they did. And it's just like, why? Was that really necessary? Okay, if you wanted to kill him off, I would have been happier if you just actually would have killed him off by him fighting Kylo. To be real with you, that would have been way better than just sitting there having him do some fucking force go. Well, I mean, he really couldn't get off the island. Technically, that's that. Now I just thought about that. That's the reason why, because he couldn't get off the fucking island. But I don't know, man. I don't know, man. It was just so. It's just something about that. It just don't sit right with me how they did him. And it's just like that. It sucks that that's the final moments of Luke. Like, he doesn't get more of a triumphant end or more of a glorious end like Vader did. Like his father. His father sacrificed himself for his son. And it's like that. Why didn't we get that for Luke? Why didn't we get something like that? I mean, shit, if we go in there, I would have been happier if the motherfucker died like Yoda. That would have been way better. At least that would have been something. That would have been like, oh man, he's dying like Yoda did. Like he just lived long enough. and like he was just dying, and he just died. That would have been way better to me than just fucking him using a force projection or whatever it was, a damn hologram. I'm surprised they didn't have Tupac there fucking playing Thug Life in the background of one of his songs, or screaming Thug Life better yet, and playing what is that song, like How Do You Want It or some bullshit in the background, if they gonna do that bullshit and have him die that way. I didn't fucks with that. Captain Phasma is probably one of the wackest villains and one of the wackest things to ever fucking grace Star Wars. Like, I thought Boba Fett was whack as fuck. I've never cared for Boba Fett. I've always thought Boba Fett was whack, so I'm pretty sure I'm pissed off a lot of people. But like, god damn, dude, the way that they did Captain Phasma was just like, whoa, what are we even doing here? Like, seriously, what the fuck are we even doing here? So you introduce her in the first one. She don't do shit. She has this silver armor on, which I'm pretty sure they're going to pull some bullshit that she's not dead. I'm 99% sure they're going to pull that bullshit. If not, once again, what will be the fucking point of her character unless she's supposed to fill the role of another Boba Fett or some shit? But I have no idea. But, you have her come in the first movie, she really doesn't do shit. Then you have her in the second movie, she still doesn't do shit. She gets this scene where she's going up against Finn like they have some type of history or something like that, and they really don't, outside of them being in the First Order together. And that's another thing about this movie that I really noticed, is that the conflict between characters don't make any sense because there's no background to them. There's no history to them. There's nothing there that makes it to where they have to fight each other. But I'll get into that in a little bit when it comes to Rey hating Kylo, because that's one thing I really spotted when I was watching this movie. But essentially where I'm getting at is that there's nothing there to where you can understand why why Finn hates Captain Phasma and vice versa. I mean, well, you kind of understand why Captain Phasma hates Finn, because he he's a traitor, as they keep on calling him. But it's still not enough there. It's still not enough there for me, at least. I want to say that. It's not enough for me, at least, to where I'm like, okay, that makes sense. I get it. Cool, let's see them fight. It's just like, okay, he left, and you're still that angry? Okay. Cool. But why? You know what I'm saying? I forgot, what was that meme from? I think, wasn't it like, I forgot what movie. I think it was some movie with Ryan Reynolds in it where he was like, but why? Or some shit like that. I think that's what it was. But that's just how I felt. I was like, but why though? Like, is it really, like, you literally have millions of other people who were in this fucking army and you're mad because of one? Really? Okay. It was just stupid. And then she dies. That's the thing. So she doesn't do anything in the first movie, doesn't do anything in this movie. At least Boba Fett had like a moment where like he was shooting at Luke and stuff, and he had a couple cool moments and stuff like that. In this one, she doesn't do anything. She doesn't do anything. And then the one thing that she does, she's in fight scene that she dies in it. So then what's the fucking point of having her around? What was the point? Seriously, what was the point? It makes no sense, man. And then the one thing that that really irritated me, and it was with the dialogue during this fight, was when she calls Finn a bug in the system. And to me, I was like, yo, that's super fucking disrespectful. Like, if somebody calls you a bug in the system, like, damn, that's some fucking harsh shit. She's like, yeah, you're a bug in the system. And I'm like, oh shit, she's getting fucking vicious out here. And he's just like, bring it on, Chrome Dome. And I'm like, oh fuck, I just hit my microphone again. I was trying to face palm and I hit my microphone. I'm just like, really? That's the best you can come up with? That's the best you can come up with? She literally just insulted you, like, really fucking bad, and the best you can come up with is bring it on, Chrome Dome? Okay, nigga. You whatever. Snoke's death was fucking stupid too. They built up Snoke to be this guy, especially how powerful he is. So that's my thing. So this dude is so fucking, and that's what fucking blows my mind in this movie. That's what blows my mind in this movie. That makes me go, what are we doing here? What is that? You're talking about this man is so powerful that he's able to bridge two Force users that are completely separate from each other on, I guess, pretty much different sides of the fucking galaxy or whatever it was. But basically, how many ever light years, miles, however the fuck you measure space, time, travel, whatever the fuck. You get my point. They're far away, essentially, right? Just like the opening sequence, they're in a galaxy far, far away from each other. He's able to bridge them together using the Force to the point to where that when Kylo Ren is talking to her and some water fucking splashes, he can see it on his hand. Like, he's basically opening up fucking portals. Like, they're literally sitting down in a room talking to each other, and they can see each other as clear as day, and they're about to touch hands. They're that fucking strong, or he's that fucking strong to do that. And he really can't detect when Kylo is turning a fucking lightsaber that's on his right fucking arm of his chair. Right on his right fucking arm of his chair. He's turning a fucking lightsaber around and about to cut it on. You telling me he can't fucking sense that? Are you serious? Are you fucking serious? Do you think I'm that goddamn stupid? When you've literally shown how strong he is throughout most of this fucking movie. It makes no sense. And he gets sliced in half. So then once again, just like with Captain Phasma, what was the fucking point of establishing this nigga? Of making him to be this almighty powerful villain? Just don't fucking have him then. It's that goddamn simple. You could have easily done this if you just would have made Kylo be the main bad guy. And he's looking for a fucking Sith apprentice. Or an apprentice to be a Sith, or whatever. You get my point. That's all you had to do. And I know I'm looking at it from the context of both movies in this entire trilogy. I get that. But still, and I know this is only relegated to episode 8, because from what I understand, you know, J.J. Abrams was even like, I was trying to do more with this nigga Snoke, but thanks a lot, Rian Johnson, you just fucked that up. You literally just fucked that up for me, because now I have to fix your bullshit because you killed him off. That's why I made him so important in the first one, is this big bad guy. I get it. But it's like, god damn, dude. Are you serious? It's so frustrating. It really is. It's so frustrating. And it's not even like they did it together. You know, and once again, I would give it the benefit of the doubt if it was one of those things of like, Rey and Kylo tried to take him down. And they did somehow, you know, or something like that. That would be, I could tolerate that. But just for you to establish how powerful he is, and for him to just die that way, nah, man. Nah, bro. And I know throughout this, or whatever it was, like the aftermath of this, Rian Johnson was talking about how he was trying to, what was it that he kept on saying? It was something, I can't remember the term he was using. He was saying something like, and it's not exceed expectations. He was basically saying like, he was trying to do, I can't remember what he said, but y'all know what I'm talking about. If y'all paid any ounce attention to this movie and the aftermath of it, you know what I'm trying to get at, because he was saying something that he was trying to basically like do what people didn't think he was going to do, or trying to do the unusual or something. I can't quite say it, but I know y'all know what I'm talking about. And it's just like, yeah, you did that, but you did it in the worst way possible. You didn't even try to do it in a good way. You just did a whole bunch of shit just to piss people off. And I think you knew what you were doing, and that's why you did it. And that shit, it's fucking dumb. We only got 2 more to go, man. So don't worry. We only got 2 more to go. It's funny that this is my longest one when it comes to me talking about Star Wars. Me looking at the time, I'm almost at 40 minutes. Holy fucking shit. I didn't think I was gonna spend this much time on it, but goddamn, is this movie bad. The Red Room fight scene. Now, I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I am kind of spoiled by the prequels, just like most people. To me, that is still the best type of lightsaber combat, because it, to me personally, you're talking about these people with these powers that are supposed to essentially make them superhuman to a certain extent. To me, the way that they fight in the prequels fits that. They have like superhuman type movements and fighting styles and stuff like that. To me, it fits with the lore of a Jedi and what a Jedi is supposed to be. Not saying that the lightsaber battles in the original trilogy are bad. They're good for what they are, especially at the time, because they were still building on the lore of Star Wars and what it was. At that time, they didn't have all the fighting styles they had. They didn't have the lore, once again, that told you about the 8 or how many ever fighting styles it was and all the shit that goes with it and all of that. They didn't have all that mythos at that time. So to me, it fits perfectly at that time, but it is very, like basic. It's almost like they were doing not fencing in a sense, but it's essentially basic lightsaber combat. But to me, the prequels is always going to be the definitive lightsaber combat because it just fits with what a Jedi and everything that comes with being a Jedi or a Sith is supposed to be. That's just me personally, right? But in this newer trilogy, I don't know what they're doing. At least in like the older ones, you can say they was going for more of like a fencing type thing or something like that. You kind of knew the direction that they were going in. Once again, the prequels is very flashy, very superhuman-esque. They doing all of this weird twists and turns and jumping and shit depending on who you talking about. Cool. And this one, I'm just scratching my head and I'm like, what are we doing here? She's swinging the lightsaber like it's a fucking bat. And it's not a bat. It's a sword, a laser sword. So why wouldn't you swing it as a sword? I don't get it. I genuinely don't. It's and what hurts the Red Room part even more is the simple fact that they try to put it in slow motion and make it like overly cool and shit. They're like, oh yeah, let's put it in slow motion. It's going to make it look even cooler. And I'm just like, no, it doesn't. It makes it look worse. And what really, oh man, what really fucking pisses me off, man, and I know I keep on saying that, but I'm going to keep on saying it because it does, is how, once again, Rey is able to hold her own with the least amount of training whatsoever. Now, I will say this, and I'm going to make this clear, okay? I'm going to make this explicitly clear. In the original trilogy, Luke didn't have much training either. When you're talking about The Empire Strikes Back, he did not have much training, and he took on Vader. Now, the difference is that he got his ass whooped because he wasn't experienced, okay? That's number one. But then, when you get into Return of the Jedi, he was actually able to defeat Vader, and he didn't really have any combat training when it came to using a lightsaber. He didn't even use it while he was on the battlefield. He didn't train with Obi-Wan to learn how to use it, like in combat. I'm talking about in combat, not to hold the damn thing, just in combat. In A New Hope, he did not learn how to use a lightsaber. He didn't, spar with anybody. And in Empire Strikes Back, when he went to go talk to Yoda, he still did not learn how to use a lightsaber like that in combat. The first time that he used it in combat was to go and fight Vader. He got his ass whooped, got his hand cut off, and he left. He comes back in Return of the Jedi. He fights him again. He actually beats him. And then you know what happens. So it's not too far out for Rey to do the same thing. Okay? I'm not going to act like that isn't too far out because Luke essentially did the same thing. But where my problem comes in with this is that she never loses a lightsaber battle. Okay? That's where my problem comes in. But not only that, she's unlike, well, not unlike, but in the same sense of Luke, where she did not use it. Well, she technically did use it in combat against Kylo in the first one. Essentially, how I'm trying to put this is that the reason why that Red Room scene irritates me so fucking much, especially when it comes to Rey, is that she already learned how to use it and beat Kylo with it already in the first movie. And that was her first time using it. Then she goes and trains with what's his name? Luke. He doesn't teaches her how to use a lightsaber in combat at all. And then she goes to the Red Room and she's taking out multiple niggas at one time. That's what pisses me off. It's like, and it's exactly what I said in my episode 7. And I'm going to put that out. You're going to see it if you watch it, because I know people don't watch these. Hopefully, eventually, one day, people watch these and listen to them. But anyway, I said it in my episode 7, METOUGH, is that when you do that, it's hard to show the progression of the character because they've already done so much in the first movie. And because she's already done so much, this is literally the next level of her, to where she's had no training, just like Luke. All she's done is swing at some fucking rocks and fight Kylo in the first movie. And once again, she did win that. And now she's able to take on multiple trained red army dudes with the fucking like blade things. Are you fucking serious? And she hasn't had no training? I get Kylo. Cool. That once again, I get Kylo because he's been trained in both sides of the Force. But her as well? And she hasn't done anything to earn that. You swinging at a fucking couple of rocks does not give you the reason or justifies the reason that you able to take out 5 or 6 of these red niggas. It don't make no fucking sense. It doesn't. It does not. And it pisses me off because she doesn't deserve it. She does not deserve that. But they gave it to her anyway. She really didn't deserve to defeat Kylo. I'm still pissed off about that. That is some bullshit. But come the fuck on, man. You get to do this too? And then what makes it even crazier is that Kylo, who was trained in both sides of the Force, is struggling more than she was. That really puts me over the edge. If you watch that battle, at first it starts off even, but if you pay attention, she doesn't struggle as much as Kylo does. Kylo struggles way more than she does. And it's like, no, it should be the other way around. He should not be struggling against these red niggas when she should be. He's been trained in both sides of the Force. I gotta keep on reiterating that shit. Because apparently this movie don't fucking get that either. Any of these movies don't fucking get that. You gonna set up the goddamn lore of him being trained in the dark side and the light side, but then the one chick who don't have any training can whoop his ass, all these red niggas' asses. It's like, come the fuck on him. Did he actually fucking train in it then? What did he do? Did he just sit there with his thumb up his ass all day? Like, goddamn, show his fucking training for once. Fuck. Is it really that hard? Oh, man. I'm not trying to get that angry. I promise you, but it's so irritating. It's so fucking irritating. And, you know, it brings a lot into perspective with me of how much people hated the prequels. But now it's like the prequels, and I think that's how a lot of people feel now. You know, a lot of people hated the prequels because of what we originally got. But now after episode 8, it makes you appreciate the prequels so much more. It makes you say, maybe those prequels still wasn't that bad. I mean, if I'm willing to watch episode 1 over episode 8, and I can say that with confidence, even though I love the visuals of episode 8, if I'm willing to watch the shitty CG, Jar Jar Binks, and all the bullshit that comes with episode 1 over episode 8, you know you done fucked up. I'm gonna hit you with the Menace to Society. You know you done fucked up, right? You know that? You done fucked up? Because I don't like episode 1. I don't. But if I'm willing to watch that over a newer Star Wars movie with shittier CG, I would even say characters that are worse if not around the same, but I find that to be more entertaining and I'll be able at least to watch that. At least I got the pod racing scene, man. And I don't even fucking like the pod racing scene. And at least at the end of that, I get Darth Maul. But if I'm willing to take the fucking pod racing scene over your entire fucking 2 hour and 17 minute, or however fucking long that movie was, you know you done fucked up. You know you have genuinely fucked up. We on the last one, man. I promise you, I did not intend for this shit to be an hour long. Because now I have to make gameplay that goes around 50 plus minutes long. I was not trying to do that bullshit. But last but not least, is Rey hating Kylo. This to me is one of the most questionable things in this entire franchise. Like, it's one of the things where you just question it every single fucking time you see it. You're like, why do you hate this nigga? Why? Once again, going back to the original trilogy, because that's the thing we're supposed to compare it to. Because you can't compare it to the prequels because it's establishing everything. So you can't really compare it to that. You have to compare it to the original trilogy. Going back to the original trilogy, the thing with it was that, like I said, the reason why Luke does the things that he does, and it happens, like, because basically you're going on the adventure with Luke, right? He didn't intend to go take down the Death Star. He didn't intend to go take down the Empire. It's just, that's what happened, okay? That's just what happened. He bought 2 droids. R2-D2 was like, I need to get to Obi-Wan. He's like, oh, I wonder if he's talking about old Ben. He goes and goes to find old Ben. You know what happens. And then that's when his journey sets off. You see what I'm saying? He see Ben die to Darth Vader and how he was supposed to train him. Then he go talks to Yoda, and you get my point. It's like a linear progression on why he's doing the things that he does. And like I just said not too long ago in this fucking video, his whole thing is like, oh, he's the bad guy. That's who I got to take out. If I take him out, I'm the only one that can take him out. That's the other thing. He's like, I'm the only one who can take him out. I need to take him out if I'm going to take down the Empire. Plus, he killed Ben. Blah, 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 blah. Like, there's things there. Then you have it to where he figures out that he's his father, yada, 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 right? You get that. It's a linear progression. You understand it. You're like, boom, I get why Luke is doing it. I understand why he's going this far. With Rey, there isn't one. You look at it and you're like, why do you hate Kylo Ren? Why? Because see, here's where the difference comes in. It's similar but different. And here's what I'm talking about. Yes. You have the driving force of Luke wanting to take down Vader and doing what he's doing and becoming a Jedi because Vader killed Obi-Wan, right? But the difference was that they clearly established that Obi-Wan and Luke had a connection before that, right? Because remember, he was like, I wonder if he was talking about old Ben. And like the way that they talk, even after he says that, it seems like they've talked before, that they have a connection and stuff like that. You see what I'm saying? Like you feel that there's something there, like they've had multiple conversations. It's not just some stranger. When it comes to Rey, there's nothing there that makes her hate Kylo outside of Han being killed, right? Outside of him killing, no, even before that, my bad, that's right, because she gets kidnapped, right? She gets kidnapped, he's trying to use the Force and stuff on her, but where I'm getting at though is that even with all of that, the amount of hate that she has for him doesn't necessarily hold up. That's essentially what I'm trying to say here. I get it. She gets kidnapped. He tortures her, etc., etc. I'm not saying that she shouldn't be angry about that, but I'm saying the lengths that she's going to and all of this shit that comes with it, there's not enough substance there to make it happen. And the death of Han is not that thing either. It's not that bridge because she didn't know him for that long. Once again, when Luke talks about Obi-Wan, or old Ben is what he calls him, you can tell that there was a connection there. He set him down, and then like even then he set him down. He talked to him, all of that. And then yes, because I think in the New Hope, when they're sitting down talking, he's like, "Oh, you never told me you knew about you knew my no." He just said you knew my father. That's what he said. He never said anything about you didn't tell me. But you get my point though. At least there was something there. They gave them enough time to basically know one another and you know, develop a relationship to where when he does die, you can get why he's upset, why he would want to go on and do the things that he's doing. In this one, it's just like they meet, the nigga dies about 20 minutes later, and she's like, nah, and then they're fighting. And then she has this hatred for him from that point forward. Like Han Solo was her fucking dad. Which, I mean, Kylo brought up a very good point when he said that. He's like, you know, you always trying to find somebody in your, trying to find somebody to be your dad or your mom or whatever, because, you know, your parents fucking sold you off. But that's still not enough, though. There wasn't enough time with them on screen. I mean, if you think about it, Obi-Wan and Luke had the whole fucking movie damn near to bond and to get a bit of a relationship. They had about 20 minutes, maybe 40 if you really want to push it. About 40 minutes worth of on time, screen on time together. And then actually she gets kidnapped for most of it. And somehow that's supposed to be the thing where all of a sudden she's upset that Kylo killed him. And now all of a sudden she just thinks that he's the worst thing since sliced fucking bread. Nah, man. To me, it sounds like it's one of those things of that you just need a good guy and you need a bad guy, and you're trying to figure out some way for you just to have either or in this movie, and you couldn't quite figure it out, so you just like, fuck it, we just gonna have him be the good guy and bad guy. It don't make no sense, man. It don't. And I'm done. I've talked way longer than I was supposed to, but this movie really pissed me off watching it again. I remember when I watched it the first time, I was pretty pissed. But watching it again this time, oh yeah, it really pissed me off, as you can clearly see. This is a 57-minute video, and it was not supposed to be that goddamn long. This is a 57-minute video about me bitching and complaining about episode 8. And it's funny because at the beginning I said, oh, you know, what am I going to be able to say that most people haven't already said? And I continued to say shit anyway for about 57 minutes. But yeah, that wraps up all of this shit. I've already seen the reviews. I said this in my episode 7 one, but I'm going to say it again. I've already seen how people talking about the reviews for episode 9 are just like, they're just shitting on it. Like, they're just saying that it's basically dog shit. I don't know. I was actually talking to one of my coworkers at work about it yesterday. He was saying the same thing as well, that he's already seen how a lot of reviews are saying that the movie's dog shit. But I'm going to go in and watch it. I'm going to go in and watch it anyway. I'm going to make my own assessment, my own judgment, whatever words you want to put in there, meaning that I'm going to form my own opinion, essentially, of the movie. Form my own judgment. There we go. That's what I was trying to say. Form my own judgment, make my own assessment of the movie. I'm not going to watch any reviews. I've been staying out of comment sections. I ain't even fucking tried to look at anything that could possibly spoil Star Wars for me. And all I'm going to do is just go in and see for myself what's really going on, how they going to end this franchise. Because to me, after episode 8, after this fucking movie right here, they have a lot to fix. And from what I understand, J.J. Abrams said he ain't trying to fix that shit. Because it's impossible to fix that shit. Rian Johnson fucked that shit up so much. How could you fix that? You would need like 2 movies to undo everything that he's done. And I'm surprised they let him do that shit. I'm genuinely fucking surprised that Disney and everybody at that fucking company sat there and looked at that shit and said, you know what? That's good. We'll roll with that. Go ahead and put it out. I'm surprised, man. So I don't know how the fuck J.J. Abrams is gonna fix this shit, but we'll see. We will fucking see.